Hello and a very warm welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be pitting AI against one another. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the world of ChatGPT, and we're going to see what happens if we just throw a bank statement at it and ask it to prepare a set of accounts for us. What could go wrong? And then we're going to take that same data and we're going to put it into QuickBooks and we're going to see how that deals with it in a fully autonomous set of accounts. Now, to premise how I've created this challenge to make it fair, I've already done the working papers of this fake client, and I've already gone through and I've basically set a set of accounts. So I know what the final figures should be. We're going to be basically looking at this and seeing what does better. Does QuickBooks or does ChatGPT just by itself? Or we're going to use Copilot as well, or at least we're going to try and use Copilot. In my ideal working scenario, I'd love to use Copilot Finance, because I think the finance module of Copilot is so powerful. It lets Copilot go in and actually start making adjustments to the Excel spreadsheet, starts to be able to build things and everything else. Love that as a feature. And I'm hoping I'm able to bring that into here. But join me on this adventure where we pit ChatGPT or Copilot, depending on which one we're going to use and figure out as we go along, versus QuickBooks, and see which one actually has the best, and I mean the best way of automating your accounts going forward. Now, full disclosure, I would never do this just haphazardly. I would never look at doing this as just adding this and send it to the client. But it's interesting to know, right, how far has this gone? And it'll be really interesting to figure out, if we do the same experiment in 6 months' time, just how much better or worse it's got at that point. So strap yourself in, let's roll the intro. Let's get straight into this video when we figure out which is better, QuickBooks AI or other AI. Let's go. Hello, my name is Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Bookkeeping, and also your friendly podcaster goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, in today's video, we're talking about a big fight, a fight between what is better. Is it going to be just manually doing a set of work? Is it going to use AI to just do it all for us? Or do we need to employ software and use software to make our life easier? Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it and let's set the scene exactly what we're about to do. So in front of me, as you can see here. So what are we going to use? Well, straight in front of me now is 12 months worth of bank statement. There's not actually that many transactions. And to give a guidance of how this particular client is going to be, I've just downloaded some random bank account statements. But to give you an example of what some sort of transactions we should see here, this is an Amazon/eBay reseller. So we expect to see money coming in from Amazon and eBay, and then expenses going out for cost of getting everything all set up. And there'll be other running costs like delivery costs and other stuff like that, and the cost of actually buying the product in the first place, everything. Your typical reselling model that you've got. So nice and straightforward. In fact, because I've already done this in a manual one for the sake of the video, I did have to, for the manual one, have to convert it into a CSV file, this exact 12 months. And convert it into a CSV file, you can see we have around about 59, 58 transactions to deal with. We've got in, out, we've got this one here as well. Not 100% sure why I've got a separate line there, but there was a reason at the time. But I was also, because I manually actually converted this, because I didn't have time to even send it to like an auto entry or like that in this scenario, then what I would have done is I would have manually just exported it using, Adobe, something like that, to bring it in. And I was just checking to make sure all those transactions come through. So there's a nice little control mechanism there. And if you ever do that yourself, if you ever have a PDF document, you're trying to bring it into an Excel document, always try and put some sort of control in place, because that's where you can have confidence that everything's been brought in properly. All right, so far, scenario set. I have the opportunity just to use this bank statement that's come through here, and I'm going to be able to put this bank statement directly in. Right. We're going to just go visit our friend ChatGPT. Now, before going further, just a little premise on security and everything else. I'm using the Teams version of the enterprise version of ChatGPT, so it's not going to learn off any information I pass it to the large language model. I've got that protection there, and I would urge everyone, if you're going to try anything like this, always make sure you're using the Teams version. Make sure the data that you're uploading can't go to the wider world. Right, so I'm just going to drop in the 12 months bank statement. I'm just going to ask it very simply, can you prepare for me a profit and loss account for this client using the 12 months bank statement attached. For clarity, I spend a lot of time with ChatGPT at the moment, and I'm trying to cut back on exactly being too specific when I'm actually saying things. But for this one, I thought just to be fair, I gave quite a big prompt there. There's quite a lot of information for it to go into. It knows it's now got bank statements. Let's just press play and see what happens. So thankfully it's thinking longer for a better answer. I always like to see that. That to me is definitely an important sign. And if you're doing anything like that, have a look at that. It's already analysing, it's grossing up eBay, Amazon income already. This is pretty amazing that it's got this far this quickly. For comparison, when I did it, while it's kind of doing that in the background, let me just show you what I did is a bit of a manual exercise that we have here. And there's definitely more efficient ways to do this, I know, but I just wanted to quickly get this done. So I did an extended TB so that I can kind of put in some extra information. And then I would be able to upload it then nice and easily to my accounts production software. So one click, uploaded, everything's in there. That would be the why I love it. I had my bank statements coming through here. And then this details one is basically the breakdown of my bank account from the bank. This was it converted from PDF into there. And this was me basically trying to make sure it was easy to analyze through. I had a bit of an opening balance I wanted to account for as well. This won't know the opening balance in fairness to it. So that might be something we can test as well. In fact, I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to move or copy. I'm going to create a copy of just this sheet and we're going to put it into a brand new book. I'm going to call it opening balances. And then I did some estimated fees as well, kind of looking at the final value fees, all that sort of stuff, just to give me some chance of putting it in there. The client didn't provide anything. Well, the client is made up. Well, in this case, client didn't bring anything. Now, to analyze this out, I was doing something quite straightforward. I just used a simple unique code here. So the idea then, it was basically looking through the description, finding all the unique codes, put it through from there. And then I was able to basically say, well, what was those categories going to be? And that's me breaking them down. So all the unique, all the categories, and then a quick little sum if formula. So basically looking at the bank statements, finding all those unique details, put them in there, and put it through from here. And then basically all I did then from the extended TB was be able to have all the name of the accounts I was expecting. And then basically from the bank, do a little bit of sum if there as well, bring the information in, put it through from there. Worked an absolute treat. And actually was a really easy and nice way to be able to put everything into place. So I personally felt like this was a mediocre attempt at being, using manual one. We can debate all day long, was I quick enough doing it manually? Was there other shortcuts I could have made? Yes, there was, there probably is. But just for saying that I was basically thrown this in and tried to guesstimate it and put it together, let's use that as a base model to what we can compare it to. Because ultimately my end result wants to be something like this. This was me using manual records. Obviously we don't know what 2023 is going to be. Again, made most of this up. Some sales going in, some other direct costs, which is basically going to be buying a little stock. You can see that they bought most of the stock last year. And if I'm being completely pedantic, I'd have expect to see some stock movement going on here. But again, just a fake scenario, this one. And then what we've got here, some cancelling fees, use of home, depreciation, things like that. Now, I don't expect it to know use of home or depreciation or anything like that. Like all that sort of stuff, it's going to struggle with. But can it get close to my sales figure? Can it understand some of these other figures? How close can AI get us to this 940, which in my mind is the final correct profit figure for this particular period, taking into account everything you can see on screen now. So let's go and see what, and it's done. Let's go and see what it's done. So you can see here that it's basically gone through. It says profit and loss summary for the 31st of 12/24. Amazon payouts, eBay payouts, Shopify payouts, total turnover, 2937. Add back to show gross fees, £218.76, means it's found a total turnover, £3,156.76. And when we look at it, it isn't far off. Now that is pretty darn impressive, saying all I did was upload some bank statements and let it kind of go off, right? It's had some company house fees, some VMO fees, some professional fees coming through. We've got loan interest to founder apparently of £100. I mean, we didn't tell it to do that, so I'm not 100% sure where it's got that figure from. Definitely wasn't on the bank account, so it's starting to think outside the box a little bit, which is good and bad. But you know, at the moment, it's going to go from there. It feels then that the cash in bank should be 2,466. Yeah, agrees with our cash in bank thing, 2,447. So that's good to see. What I did methods. Pulled from the payouts from bank and Amazon, grossed them up, left Amazon as net. Banks pay Amazon fees aren't visible on the bank, so I haven't guessed at a rate. Classed Royal Mail as cost of sales, company's house fee mainland as operating expenses, loan interest, which it's not told me how it's got to loan interest. I don't know where it's got the loan interest from, but it's been able to put from there. It's clever enough though to know that there's kind of director's payments coming out of there. That's always going to be kind of a tricky situation, right? So it's good to see that that's come through from there. Next steps. Tell me what you prefer. Provide Amazon eBay settlements CSV so it can actually do it for you. So it's clever enough to know that. If you want an accruals basis P&L and balance sheet, I can build that from the ledgers or working papers. Amazing. I want the things broken down. Well, I'm going to give it a bit of a fighting chance. So if I say, here is the opening balance, please estimate all settlement, all platform fees, and try and build a full balance sheet from the opening balance. So now it's finished doing them and it's provided us with this Excel spreadsheet. So let's have a quick look at what it's provided for us. So what has it done here? Now, profit and loss, it's decided that the profit was £2,539, broken down into the grossed. Now it's taken it a little bit higher than my original grossed up fee was, but in fairness, that's probably a prudent approach, right? Like let's put it through there. I mean, it comes back to zero anyway in terms of the net position, but it looks like it's definitely gone higher than mine was. In fact, yeah, it's because I didn't even put the Amazon one in when I did it. I didn't have enough information to do it, but it was able to kind of look it from the bank and go through from there. Now, cost of sales, right? Interesting. Oh, in fact, no, I know what it's done here. It's gone and only took eBay from the bank, not assume that it was actually expenses or anything, or other form of expenses gone through. Cost of sales is there, operating. Interesting. So it's come out with 2,539. Okay, then. So this part of the experiment, we're going to take the bank statement and we're going to put it directly in there. Now, notice the client did actually send us, or the client did actually send us as a PDF. Now, the nice thing is later on in QuickBooks, as opportunity, we're going to be able to go in there and just upload that bank statement as a PDF file. Now, we don't have that quite yet, so we're going to have to kind of be a little bit more everything in the way that we're doing it. But to be able to make this a fair test, I've already created it as a CSV file, and I'm basically now going to go in and I'm just going to upload that CSV file, just to make life so much easier, right? And then we're going to see how well QuickBooks is able to analyze that data and give us a final period. Right, let's go. Awesome. So as you can see here, I've just gone through kind of setting it all up. I was doing that while I was talking to you, actually. Really simple process. But here is my brand new version of QuickBooks. Now, I'm going to go to the bank statements area. I'm going to go and upload transactions. Cool. So if I press this button, press 12 months, press continue. This is my thing. Right, okay, so got the CSV file, gone through there. Is the first row? Yes, it is. How many columns show amounts? One column, because I can use the DC one that way. No, let's do two columns. Let's do it that way, because I created the one column. All right, it's day, month, year. Right, date is date. Description is transaction, I believe. Best make sure of that. Yes, transaction, awesome. Amount money received, well, that's in. Amount money spent is out. And we don't need check number, press continue. So I'm now putting through here the importing the 52 transactions. Now the clever thing about QuickBooks Online Trader is it's automatically analysed all them as for me. So in theory, you can see all of the transactions have automatically come in and have automatically been assigned. And if I was to run a report and I was looking at profit and loss and I went to last year, this is the income that it's been, or this is the figures it's been able to do for me. It says that the sales was 2899.59, which if we go back to before I gave it the cleverness of kind of going through and we looked at the original answer, it was 293741. If I was to go to the real answer, 293741, which is exactly what ChatGPT came up with. Within QuickBooks though, we're missing something. Now, this is where the advantage of QuickBooks comes in, because to be honest, I was never expecting it to come back first time, but we have all the tools of the trade to be able to go in here and clean this up. For example, I can go in here and I can look at my eBay and figure out what the hell was this done. So, first of all, I can go in, tick this box here, and I can change it to cost of goods to resale. There. Really quick and easy. Or the income, I can quickly go in and put that all to sales. And what the cleverness is now, it's going to learn going forward. So this first bit, yeah, I might have to do a little bit of extra work, but actually it's not that big of a deal. I've gone through there. Shopify was another one. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm actually going to move this to sales because I think that was a refund coming through. Right. So my sales are now done and dusted. The only other thing I've got to do now really is try and figure out what about some of these other expenses. Now you see, this is where it gets a bit weird. Royal Mail's gone to bank charges, which, no, that's not true. So we're going to go and assign category. And we're going to go put this to other business expenses. We'll do for now. It found the founder and put it to personal spending, so we're liking that. And it looks like everything else is pretty much as we expected. So now with those quick changes, I can go back into reports, go to my profit and loss, make sure it's for the last year. And we're now at 2552.35 compared to 253971. And this is where I feel like the biggest learning from this is coming through, right? So from this point of view, ChatGPT 5 did an absolutely stellar job of grabbing the information, putting it through, but it did start to hallucinate, right? It started to do things extra that I wasn't really expecting it to do. Now, in fairness to it, what it did back really well was add back those eBay charges and it grossed up the income and it did things like that, which I thought was a really clever way of looking at it. But you are then locked into really just taking it for granted. Now, yes, you could probably download some of these and you could make around, but there's no way of kind of easily changing anything what it says, right? It's made an assumption, it's added things up, and there's no real controls in there to give me confidence that everything is right. Other than, in fairness to it, the bank statements seem to come out to be the right figure, so it seems to be okay, but it goes through from there. But it's done really well. Like, hats off to it. I threw it at it there, and I mean, I don't know how long that took to get to this position that we're in at this point in time. It didn't take too long, did it? It wasn't a long process to get to the end result. Certainly quicker than what I did to kind of create this, working papers that we put into here. This working papers here took half an hour or so to put together at it, but that was also converted and putting through from there and putting there. So realistically, you're probably looking at like 15 odd to 20 minutes worth of work here to get basically to this extended TB where I was able to put those extra bits in. I think those extra bits are really important. Here, I've kind of asked it to, with ChatGPT, I've asked it to put those extra bits in. I've asked it to kind of adapt. I've asked it to do things for me, but I'm really just giving it AI prompts and hoping for the best and hoping it's coming out correctly. Whereas with here, yeah, that first initial input was a bit off, like it was doing things that was a bit strange. But in fairness, it's giving me the tools to quickly go in and fix, right? And I was able to quickly go in, put things in, and now it's learned. And the important thing is now learned for next time. So next time we get bank statements through, we could import them, or if we even had our bank connected automatically, we can get that information in automatically, right? And I know now going forward that it's going to learn from its mistakes, understand, and go through from there. But I've also got all the tools in place. Every single thing I could put in it, I could put user payment in here, I could put depreciation in, I could go in and put every single aspect that I want. And as an accountant, I even get to go to it and look at it from a work papers where I can really go and have that confidence that everything's been put in correctly. And I feel like that's what this is showing us. That, yeah, you know what? The power of ChatGPT at the moment is unbelievable. And yes, we can put this information in, and yes, it's giving all this information there. But it's not giving us a platform then that we can adapt or change. What QuickBooks does is it basically gives you that tool. So I thought that was a really interesting experiment. And to me, it shows that this isn't quite there. And it's because it's its own ecosystem and kind of enclosed in its own thought process, it's quite limited of how far I could take this. I couldn't scale this, right, to build this so I could build this for clients. Every time they send in information to me, I dump it in here and, provide them a set of accounts based on that. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I could do that with here. Whereas here, with the QuickBooks platform, I definitely have that. And remember, this is using QuickBooks Sole Trader, the most lowest version of QuickBooks there is available, without most of the AI goodness that we've come to see. And that's why I want to definitely explore next, is right, okay, that's using QuickBooks Sole Trader, the minimal amount of AI goodness that we can get from Intuit Assist. What happens if we up the ante? What happens if we go to the next level? So if you want to know what that is, then you're already in the right place. Make sure you like and subscribe, because I'm really excited to see what would happen if we threw this in, the full version of QuickBooks, especially for something like QuickBooks Advanced, where I've got access to a whole raft of different AI agents that could help me going through from there. And I'm definitely not going to give up on Copilot as well. I feel like, yes, it's in that beta phase. Yes, there's kind of problems, but I feel like the opportunity to be able to use that AI agent is clear to see. The amount of extra work it can do for us is clear to see. I'm just hopeful that we can get there sooner rather than later. So there we have it. There is a quick look at the world of AI. ChatGPT versus QuickBooks. Which one came out on top? Only you can really decide. But I think from a pure accountant's point of view, I'm going with the dedicated QuickBooks each and every time. From a pure experimental point of view, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on as what this can become for going forward. Because I think there's a lot of potential here. I just don't think it's quite ready yet for full time. And there we have it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this new series.
Hello and welcome to this video.
Hello and welcome to this video.
Hello and welcome to this video.
Hello and welcome to this video. Hello and welcome to this video.
Alright, let's get it set. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm aware we go live every Monday.
The next generation is about everyone else that missed it.
Yeah. So current. All right, you've told us what you love about the industry, but what would you change about the industry?
Where do I start?
During that period of time, where did everyone turn to? Their accountant, right? Their advisor, their bookkeeper, and you all did phenomenal work for small business.